Toni, yeah. Toni in the morning. Toni in the morning. Waking up your world. Toni in the morning. Toni in the morning.
94.1 WHRP.
For the first time in about 6 years, Cassie and Diddy see each other in person in court. And so the government calls Cassandra Ventura to testify.
Yeah.
And of course, when she first started hanging around Diddy, she was saying, I'm like many other entertainers who just wanted to be around him, to be around all the excitement.
Because everything,
hit maker and all that.
Yeah. Super producer.
All that. And so she said, it really started out as just that. An entertainer who was trying to get their feet wet, basically. And wow, not many people could rub elbows with Diddy.
Yeah,
close.
Especially at that point in time in his career.
Right.
She said the entire relationship started off platonic. Then they started building from there, and then things started to get crazy.
Yes, she said she fell in love with him, and everything was cool until they got closer and closer and closer, and then that's when the personality of Diddy reportedly from Miss, Cassie, that it started shifting. And she said you could make the wrong face, and the next thing you knew, you were getting hit. And she says if she was a brat or something or whatever, that he would let her know, and he would fix her face and tell her to watch her mouth. So now you have somebody, that's really dominating this relationship.
Everything she got going on. She said if she didn't pick up the phone, that he would either come over there or send some staff over there to find out where she's doing, what's going on. Crazy.
Yeah. So the description of what she shared is really heartbreaking to hear. Yesterday she was on the stand. They say she will return again today and have more to say because the questioning just got started.
It just got started. Yeah. And both sides get an opportunity to question her as well. So this is gonna get real interesting.
Yeah, it is. But nonetheless, no cameras, just artists sketching. People have been standing in line to get into the courtroom to hear it. A lot of his family members were there yesterday, including his children. And they heard some things they probably never heard before. The description has been very intense, and that was just day one.
Right. It's only going to, it continues.
Yeah, it continues. Stick around. We're going to give you an opportunity to win those tickets to the Old School Blues Festival right here at 94.1 WHRP.
We're looking black in the day.
Was that black?
We're looking back in the day.
Back.
Well,
Back in the day, Clara Stanton Jones was born on this date. May 14th, 1913, became the first African-American director of the Detroit Public Library and first African-American president of the American Library Association. That's Black in the Day. On this date, back in the day, in 1787, where were you?
Ooh.
Delegates meet in Philadelphia to draw up the U.S. Constitution. All right, the patent for Vaseline was granted on this date in 1878. No more ass, right? De La Soul releases their third album, De La Soul is Dead, featuring Saturdays and also Ring, Ring, Ring on this date in 1991. The final episode of Seinfeld aired on NBC, and over 76 million people watched in 1998. The final episode of Brandy's sitcom, Moesha, that aired in 2001. And in 2016, a week after its release, Beyonce's Lemonade album, well, all 12 hit songs hit the Billboard 100 charts. Wow. All right, celebrities celebrating birthdays and famous people too.
Raphael Sadiq, forever lead singer of Toni Tone. He had hits Anniversary, It Never Rains, Feels Good, plus solo hits, Ask of You and She Keeps Calling, just to name a few. We also have 90s hitmaker Shanice Wilson with hit songs I Love Your Smile and Silent Prayer. Facebook creator and owner of Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg, celebrating his birthday today, as well as movie director and producer George Lucas. He gave us Star Wars and Indiana Jones. We also have 4-time Super Bowl champ Rob Gronkowski celebrating his birthday today, and the fifth guy in the New Kids on the Block, Danny Woods. Find more celebrity birthdays on our Facebook page at 94.1 WHRP.
And it is National Buttermilk Biscuit Day.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Put a little butter, a little jelly, a little syrup on there.
Sounds so good.
Add some eggs and some bacon. Oh, my goodness. Go back to bed.
Come on
All
now.
right, that's Black in the Day, back in the day. Tony in the Morning on 94.1 WHRP.
94.1 WHRP.
The latest gossip headline.
Here she goes, up in everybody's business.
Tony's Tattletale.
Did you hear about what happened?
Tony's Tattletale.
Tony's Tattletale. Is any of this true?
Tony's
Well, Mama Knowles
Tattletale.
has a new book, and a lot of people are saying it's a good one, too. It's already on the bestsellers list. But most recently, she said and shared why she divorced actor Richard Lawson. Not fine, Richard Lawson. She did, and she said basically it was because she deserved so much better. How many people stay in relationships and don't realize that ain't the one? She just went ahead and said, you know what? He's got a lot of great qualities, just not enough for me. Woo, Mama knows when to leave. All right. Damson Idris is going to portray the great late Miles Davis in an upcoming film. Can't wait to check that out, because there's a man, when you talk about music, is full of great stories, no doubt. And get ready for the roller coaster ride. Plus, congratulations to Janet Jackson. She's going to receive the Icon Award at the American Music Awards, and it's happening May 26th. Congratulations
Congrats,
to
Janet.
Miss Janet. Nasty. Oh, never mind. All right. It's not the word, it's what I heard. It's just Tattletales.
Now you're in the know about other people's business. From Tony's Tattletale on 94.1 WHRP.
Tony in the Morning and DJ Primetime 256. And this is a situation that happened. You and I were on vacation when this whole accident, and it was just trending everywhere. This truck driver who was on I-65. And he started just hitting cars after cars after cars after cars, causing a fatal accident and claiming the life of a young guy that a lot of people know.
Yeah, it's crazy, the reports on here. The fact that, one, that he's been in vehicle accidents before as a truck driver with CDLs. They go through this thorough thing, and don't get me wrong, I understand truck drivers get stressed, but the fact that the officer stated that the man had drank a water bottle full of tequila,
right,
took a nap, and then hopped right back on the road.
and had other substance as well, they discovered.
Man.
Killing William Hardrick. This is a guy who played football for Austin P.E. State University, and now they have said they are charging him with murder.
Yeah.
Yes, the truck driver has been charged with murder, and I know yesterday he had to face the judge at Limestone Court, right down the street from us in Athens, and that they were doing a trial. Not a trial, but he was facing the judge for a possible bond.
Yeah, for a bond hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, bond hearing. Yeah. So John McAdams is charged with murder, driving under the influence, and leaving the scene of an accident. So there were other multiple collisions, and people got hurt, but he killed someone.
One, yeah. He struck multiple vehicles out there. Yeah. Reckless.
Now, they had an interview with the uncle of Mr. Hardrick, and they say that the uncle was saying he also drives a big rig, and he knows about the stress, and he was just taken back that this guy would put so many people at risk and drink and do what he did behind that big vehicle
that is a huge vehicle.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
Man.
but they are definitely going to put a lawsuit against this guy.
Yeah,
and the family should.
And it's not just him; it's the company he works for. Like, it trickles down so much. There's so many people that's at risk right now because of what he did. Not only the people that he hit, but it goes down a rabbit hole.
94.1 WHRP.
94.1 WHRP, today's best variety of R&B. Toni in the Morning and DJ Primetime 256 Wednesday, which means we get a chance to talk to Dr. Whitney West for Wellness Wednesday. Good morning, Dr. West.
Morning, Dr. West.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good.
Feeling pretty good. You know, I'm a lie anyway when I see you. I don't want no appointments. But doing good, Dr. West. And I like the topic that we're going to talk about because there's a lot of women who suffer from this, especially after hormonal changes, maybe even pregnancies and stuff. Hair loss, hormones and hair loss. Tell us a little something about that.
Hormones play a huge role in our hair cycle, right? Because there's a cycle, growth and then shedding. Estrogen in particular helps keep your hair in the growth phase cycle. So, women will notice more hair growth during pregnancy. But when estrogen levels drop, whether after childbirth or perimenopause, menopausal situation, then we'll see shedding. So, personally, right after delivery, I'm brushing my hair and I've got, a lot more stuff coming out in my brush. And then now, menopausal, it's the same deal. The texture of my hair has changed. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. The other side of that is that not just estrogen, but androgens, which are testosterone and then testosterone breakdown, we call them derivatives. So what happens after testosterone is broken down in your body, causes your hair follicles to shrink and shorten. So, and this leads to thinning, specifically on the top of your head here, the crown, and then along, so here in the front and then along the side. So men can, will have we call male pattern baldness. So right here at the crown, and because there are changes going on with their hormones as well. But women who have issues with testosterone levels elevated will cause shortening and thinning of their hair.
What about that landing pad back there that men get that balding spot, like where it looks like a helicopter can land?
So you got the male pattern baldness where you get this right here, and then you got that, which is this is the crown. So that's the crown, and then you got the male pattern baldness. There's genetics involved in that too. So there's that's a whole nother discussion about how that pattern happens in certain men and not in others. Some men you see have full head of hair, and then others not so much. But the genetics are involved in that, in addition to the testosterone. But for women, both of those, estrogen and testosterone, the testosterone derivatives play a role in what happens with our hair.
We're talking with Dr. Whitney West about hormones and hair loss and the landing pad back there in the back. Now, Dr. West, before we go out here and start getting these hair replacements, what is something that we can do to help the hair loss, even though sometimes it's genetics?
Well, so there's another hormone involved too. So there's your thyroid hormone, and most people will think about that as like metabolism, like whether you're overweight or underweight. Well, your thyroid is either overactive or underactive when it's not normal, right? So, euthyroid is mean the numbers are normal, everything's working fine, but underactive means it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and overactive means it's doing too much. So those people who are having issues with thyroid will notice changes too, and they'll have issues with either weight, fatigue, skin changes, and that kind of thing. But thyroid also affects your hair. So underactive, you'll get thinning too. So we need to pay attention to all the other symptoms that are going on at the same time that we're having the hair changes, and then be evaluated. But ultimately, most of my talks, will center around a certain theme. So proper nutrition is huge, right? So if we're eating a poor diet, we're not getting in the right nutrients that will help with our hair. Iron, biotin, vitamin D, and zinc. Those are essential with hair and nails. So you'll see, supplementation on the counter if you go to your pharmacy, and it say skin, hair, and nails, because you'll need all of the things that we just talked about, the vitamin D and iron and those will be the essential nutrients that you need, but you can get them from your food. So, like I said, we've talked about proper nutrition and proper sleep and decreasing stress, because the cortisol level from stress will cause changes in your hormones. And then of course, then you get the domino effect with all of that. There are certain herbal supplements that have been shown to help. And these are, been studied, and there's clinical the backing of clinical studies that will prove that these things have worked. So saw palmetto is one, and then ashwagandha, so which also plays a role with stress and mood and that kind of stuff. So, but changing your diet, making sure you're getting in the proper nutrition, decreasing your stress level, and then supplementing where necessary, or getting treatment. Like I said, if your thyroid is out of whack, well, then we got to get that fixed.
Well, so with all the nutrition change, adjusting your diet, is that going to slow down the process of losing your hair?
Well, it can, if the reason for why you're losing your hair has to do with you being nutritionally deficient, and then hormonal balance. So getting your hormones back in track. So if it's your thyroid that's out of whack, or if you're, let's say, you're menopausal, then getting assistance with replacement if you are a candidate for that. And if you're not, then we'll figure out how to do, nutritional support if necessary. Now, after pregnancy, we always recommend that you continue prenatal vitamins for at minimum 6 weeks. And if you're breastfeeding, then you need to continue them as long as you breastfeed, so that you are replacing what you're losing by nourishing the baby. And you want quality breast milk and stuff like that. So if you're not eating enough healthy foods, you're not replacing what you're losing, then you're going to see the changes that happen, because your body's got to pull it from somewhere.
So if you are presently pregnant and or just recently delivered, and your hair is changing and you're losing hair and everything, this is kind of a normal process because of the change in your hormones. But what if you're in a situation like me and your hair is just turning gray? What can you do, doctor? What can you do?
No, that's a whole dye.
I don't want to dye my hair anymore. I want to just keep it as is. And they say sometimes it's stress that's bringing your hair change to gray coloring, but also age.
Well, absolutely. So, but there's some people who prematurely gray. So that's a different situation. Yeah, that's a different situation than this hormonal change that is, allowing the changes that happen with loss, the shedding and then the growth and that kind of thing. That's the graying is a little bit different. I don't know if you guys, you probably remember, 2008 when Obama came to office, he had one look, and then, 8 years later, he looks very different.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say stress played a role in that.
When PT came to the radio show, I had one look, and here we are nearly a year later, I got another look.
Look at that glow.
Thank you, Dr. West, for these great bits of information on what could be causing our hair change with hormones. And what is the best way to get in contact with you if people want to have a little more consultation?
My website is www.westmdpc.com.
And what are your parting words?
Empower wellness. It is a journey, not a destination.
Residuals, Chris Brown, 94.1 WHRP. Toni in the morning. Toni, have you seen Genuine? Did you see the video of Genuine singing?
I did see it. Yes, I did.
Residuals?
Yeah.
Man.
I like Latasha Scott's rendition of it.
I haven't heard. Oh, is that pretty good?
Ooh,
really?
That girl got a voice.
I got to hear that one. I got to hear that one.
Genuine, just stay in one spot on the stage.
Yes.
Don't jump. Stop singing other people's songs.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll say it. I know you won't say it. I'll say it.
I love R&B, and then when Genuine did that, I said, "Uh-oh, why you do that?" Wait,
you should have stuck with "uh-oh."
I like it, Genuine.
I do too. Yeah.
So, in other news, Toni, so we're talking about Tory Lanez had got stabbed while he was in prison.
And his lungs collapsed
14 times.
Yikes.
I think it was twice in the face, several in the back, and then in the chest as well. So it happened at around 7 o'clock yesterday morning. But the inmate that wound up stabbing Tory Lanez is a lifer. he's locked up in prison for for second-degree murder and murder.
Okay.
Been in there for years. What type of trouble does an R&B artist start in prison to where somebody that's sentenced to life and murder is after you?
That is insane. That is insane. Why was he in the same? I don't know how the jails work, so I'll just be quiet. But why was he in the same space as a person that's a murderer?
I don't know.
Lifer? Because he, and I don't want to make light of what Tory Lanez did, because he's in jail because he reportedly, allegedly, and they found him guilty of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot.
Right.
So
it's I don't.
So now he's fighting for his life, basically.
Literally. He's out of ICU now. They say he's in stable condition. Still locked up, but stabbed 14 times. I don't even get when R&B artists into gang violence. I don't get that either, because you're an R&B artist. You shouldn't. I ain't saying you can't be hard, but
was that gang violence or was that domestic violence? Him shooting her.
That was domestic violence.
Right.
It's got to be gang violence in prison, though.
Toni in the Morning Show. Weekdays starting at 6 a.m. on 94.1 WHRP.
KK's been busy. Today she put into law the Focus law. I think that happened just a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
She was to sign that. That means that the kids can't take their phones into the classrooms and all that.
Man,
that's the Focus law.
Kiddos.
Yeah, so she did that. So now she's also talking about the state sales tax on several items purchased and for expected mothers and new mothers.
Okay.
So that's going to end those state taxes on feminine hygiene products.
Okay.
All right. And it's going to go into effect in September, but it's kind of good to know. Not only that, grocery taxes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Now we talking business.
Now we're going to get that down to about 2%.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
So that'll be helpful because we're getting ready to go through it with all of the tariffs. And you can imagine how expensive it is to purchase diapers, baby wipes, maternity, anything, clothing and stuff like that. So they'll get a break on that. All right. And then food.
You can't. Yeah,
food.
That's good. That's good. Food.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of tax breaks and what we need and things going up, Toni, how far would you go not for your rent not to increase?
For it to not increase? I don't know.
Like, rent goes up every year for the most part.
What's on the table? What are the suggestions?
Options are moving.
Okay.
Burning your house down.
Oh my gosh.
Or just paying more.
It doesn't sound like there's anything.
It's not. Well, a 66-year-old man that lives in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Rent had went up, and he decides to go ahead and just burn the house down. So what he did was he got a bottle of whiskey, a lighter, and set fire to his apartment. And
what about everybody else that is adjacent to that apartment?
Not only that, but the ring cameras that are adjacent to the building that you just set fire to, kind sir.
Yeah.
So long story short, Clinton Hodges is in jail right now for arson for burning down his apartment
because the rent
went up.
Just move. Just move.
Toni, yeah. Toni in the morning. Toni in the morning. Waking up your world. Toni in the morning. Toni in the morning.
94.1 WHRP.